Hello and welcome to this SIGBI website tutorial. I'm Joan Bailey from Garstang's to Optimus, and today I'm going to talk to you about using images on the SIGBI websites. So we're going to talk about how to create them, what to do with them, and some interesting ways of potentially using them. First of all, a very quick word about formats and file sizes or image sizes. These are questions which crop up quite a lot. So there are lots and lots of different image formats, but the main ones that we will be using and the ones that are appropriate for our websites are the JPEG, which is a standard image type that any mobile phone or camera, etc. will download as. There are GIF, which is usually a little clip art or an animation that you may have downloaded from the internet. And there are PNG, which is used by some graphical editing software. But as I say, the very main one that you should be aiming for is JPEG. The recommended sizes for the different images in the different parts of our website are shown in the user guide. But the main three types that I'm going to mention are the header image. Now that's the long, thin bar-shaped picture that can go in the block at the top of pages. That needs to be a minimum of 1200 by 300 pixels. If it's any smaller than that, it will get blown up and then it'll be pixelated and fuzzy. You can go up as high as 1920 by 480 pixels. For standard images that you're going to put in the body of a blog or a page, you can aim for anything around about 1200 by 900. You can go bigger, up to 1920 pixels as a maximum. You can go smaller, but again, if you go too small, then if you try and blow them up, they get rather fuzzy. The featured image, which we will mention later, is the small snapshot that's shown on the summary page for the blogs. This will be a square shape, so if you can aim for 500 by 500 pixels, that will get a perfect picture. If you use anything smaller, it will get blown up to the 500 and therefore will be fuzzy. Anything larger is liable to be cropped, so you could end up with not seeing a very interesting or useful part of the picture. Now, I always like to have everything organised and ready before I even approach the website system. I assemble all my pictures together into a folder, so if I'm going to do any write-ups etc. on a particular event, I'll have it in a folder with all the pictures, and I even prepare the actual content ready to do a copy and paste. That way it's a very simple job to get everything actually published, and you've also got the source material if you need it again. So for today I have just a couple of pictures that were taken at our regional meeting. Not terribly exciting pictures. I have to apologise for the fact that photography is not my area of special interest, so these were taken by me, which is why they're not very exciting. These are the two original pictures taken on my iPad. We can tell that because it mentions iOS in the file name. When you hover over these, it will tell you that the dimensions are 3264 pixels by 2448, which is bigger than the sizes I had mentioned. They're also a rather large individual file size, and they haven't got a very useful name. So I prepare those, and I now have a picture that is 1200 by 900, a much smaller actual file size, and the file name. You can choose your own structure completely, but I always like to include the date and a hint as to where the picture was taken or what was it about. So I've got one at the region meeting and I've got number 2 at the region meeting. Now I've also prepared two more. This one, as you can probably guess, is a long thin one, so that's of a header size, and this one's much smaller. I've included the term 500 in the file name, so I know immediately that that's one that I prepared that's a 500 pixel size, suitable for a featured image. So let's get logged into the website. Let's open my browser first of all. On a previous occasion I've actually bookmarked the admin page for our regional website, so I can click straight on that. It stops and asks me for my username and password, so I'm just going to fill that in and then I'll be clicking on login. And now I'm logged into my website and it presents me with the dashboard. So to get the various pictures uploaded, there are two basic ways of doing it. One is to go through the media library at the beginning, and one is to do it at the time that you're actually putting the words on the page to do the page or the blog. Personally, I always prefer to upload things in advance, especially if there's more than one picture. If I was just doing one very quick, wanted to dash it off blog post with only one picture, then I might possibly upload it through the blog post. But this is the route I always take, but I will show you both. The media library you can find down the left under the heading of media, and then click on library. So the media library shows you absolutely everything that's been uploaded previously in the way of pictures, and also any other documents such as PDFs. In date order, so the most recent pictures that I've uploaded are there. If you wanted to search and see whether you'd uploaded any pictures on a particular topic previously, you can use the search box. I'm going to look for conference and press enter. So this shows me, first of all, some PDFs that I've uploaded to do with regional conference in 2019, and various images that mention the word conference. So if you wanted to reuse one of those in a particular page or blog post, you could, and if you actually wanted to delete them because they hadn't been used, you could do so as well. I want to add some new pictures, so I'm going to click on the Add New button. So you're on the Upload New Media page. Again, like most things, there's more than one way of doing it, and it does tell you in the middle that actually it says you can drop files here or you can select files. As I'm running on a single screen, I'll go for Select Files, click on the button, and it opens the standard go and find a file bit of functionality of any system. So go to wherever it is that you've stored your pictures ready. So my region website 2020 prepared pictures. I want to upload all of them, so I can select all four, and you do that if you're not too sure. You can click on the first one, point to the last one and hold the shift key down whilst you click on the last one, and you should be able to see, hopefully, there's little blue boxes around all of them, and then you can say open. Wait a few seconds while they all went their way up. You can see the progress going on down here. So once the green buttons have disappeared on all of them, you're left with edit. At this stage, I do try to go in and edit and put the additional information. So let's start with the first one. So it's telling me that was the file name I'd given it, so I'm still happy with that. And two things we really need to fill in, alternative text and description. Alternative text is the item that appears when you hover over an image on the website. I'll just nip to our website and show you what the alt text looks like. Page. Okay, I'm hoping so. That one, when I hover over it, the alternative text was Blackpool 05 and so on. So it's a good idea to put something in here. Northwest Regional Meeting 2019 February Equality, which is what the again we're actually doing the equality sign. So I'm going to put that in there and just expand it ever so slightly. So the alt text, I've just shown you what that does. The description is important because if somebody has impaired vision or is blind and is using a piece of software or part of Windows that reads out the content of the web page to them, this is what the screen reader will read out. So if they can't quite see what the picture is, then the system will tell them what the picture is. So it's always important to put that in, partly to help the people who might be viewing the website. It also does get us some brownie points with the search engines as well. So I'm going to update that one. And then I can close that picture and I can go to the second one and make the same changes. So alternative text, better description, say update, close that one, nip back to the list and repeat for pictures 3 and 4. I'm not going to do that straight away, I'll leave that till later now. So if we click on media, it will show us the full library again, and we can now see the most recent pictures that I've just uploaded. If you decided you didn't want it, you took a look at it and decided it was blurred or you'd uploaded the wrong one or something, you can delete from here. But having got the pictures uploaded, we're now going to do something useful with them. So I'm going to start with pages. It is a very similar process for both pages and blogs, so I'll show you in detail on a page and then a quick view on a blog. I'm going to start by adding a new page. You can edit an existing page and put images onto an existing page, but just for clarity today I'm going to do it on a completely new page. So I've been doing a few test pages, so here's another test page. And my mouse has frozen. Thank you. It's just feeling a little bit slow. Right, now then, as this is a brand new page, it has started in what's called the Classic editor. There are actually 4 different editors that can be used in our system. The Classic is the equivalent of what we used to use previously. The other 2 are Backend, which has another name, the WP Bakery, the Front-End editor and the Gutenberg editor. I haven't found a use at all for the Gutenberg editor, and I'm not really comfortable with the front end at the moment, so for today I'm going to show you Classic and Backend. So let's do it first of all in Classic. Let's just put a little bit of text on the page. So I'm going to describe what I'm doing, and we'll give that one a header tag just to do it properly. So in Classic mode, if you want a picture, quite simply click on Add Media with your cursor in the spot where you would sort of like to put it. Now you can see this loads a screen that was very similar to the library page when we were adding pictures before, and that's because you can either choose to use a picture that you have already uploaded, or you could go to Upload and then go through the same process for selecting a file and uploading it at this point. But I've already uploaded a number of pictures, so I'm going to choose that one. Click on it and it will tell me, actually I'm going to choose that one. It was the region meeting number 1 and it's my 1200 by 900 pixel picture. It's got alternative text in it. It's going to put it in the centre of the page, which is fine, but you can click that down and choose left, centre and right. The none means that there won't be any text wrapping around it, but the normal ones to choose would be left, centre and right. The link to media file, that means that when somebody clicks on this on the page, it will open up the picture in full size. And the bottom bit is how big the picture is going to be on the page. So you've got a choice of very small, medium, large and the full size. You probably wouldn't ever put full size on the page because it's unlikely to be displayed. I would normally go for medium or possibly large if you really wanted, but we'll go for medium for the moment. Insert it into page and we have a picture in the middle of the page. Fairly straightforward. If you click on the picture again and hover over it, you get the little editing toolbar. So if you decided you would prefer it at the left or at the right, you can click on those. You can click on the pencil to do some editing, which will just get you the same options up again. So again, you can choose left, centre, right. You can put a caption in if you want. That would appear on the screen. I'll just put "this is a caption." And again, you can say whether you want it to link to the file or not. So if we say update, we've now got the caption underneath it. As I say, fairly straightforward. And with the classic view, you can actually see on the screen roughly what it's going to look like in the finished product. If you want to see it a little better, you can click on the preview button. So there we go. Text, picture, caption. So now I'm going to change from the classic editor to the back-end editor, which, as I say, is also known as the WP Bakery Page Builder. Bit of a long title, just call it back-end. So it's showing the material I've already put on, so that was the heading and that was the description that I put. It's also showing some programming code because that was created in Classic and it's now pulled through to the page builder. So don't go fiddling with that if you do end up doing a mixture of views. But within the WP Bakery, the back end, you basically build the page up by putting blocks of stuff onto the page. So you get a new element, you need to click on the plus sign for a new element. And I'm going to, again, just insert a single image so that we can see the comparison. So we'll click on that. And okay, we're going to click on the plus sign to select the image from the media library. So I'll choose a different picture. I will choose that one, which is not relevant to, it's not one of the ones I've just uploaded, but it's I'll have that one actually. So again, region meeting number 2 picture. I didn't put any alt text on this one, so I will put some on now. So this was a talk given to us by a survivor of human trafficking. It was an extremely interesting talk. So I'll just put a little bit of text in there. I would normally try and put a bit more effort into a meaningful description. And we'll say set image. So I've chosen that image. Shows us a little picture of it. Scroll down a bit. So the way to choose what size it's going to be displayed on the page is slightly different in this back-end editor. The instructions are on the screen though. It says enter image size, for example thumbnail, which is what it's put on by default, medium, large, full, or put some actual measurements in. Well, the easiest thing to do is to say medium or large. Do you want a caption displaying underneath it? Yes or no? It's turned off at the moment. Do you want it left, right, centre? I might go right on this one. Scroll down a bit more. On click, we would like it to. I'm going to open in Pretty Photo and then I'll show the difference between the two. I think that's all that we're interested in. There are lots of other things as you've seen me scrolling past, but if you don't know what they do, ignore them. The main ones are what would you like to do if somebody clicks on it, what do you want it left, right, centred, and how big do you want it. So save changes. So in this view of the page, you get a little bit of an idea of the first bit, but the rest of it you can't really see what it's going to look like on the screen. So you really do need to do preview on this one. So that's the first picture which we did in Classic. That's the second one which I did as a right justification. So the net result on the screen, you know, you can get exactly the same result. It's just a different way of getting to that. But the thing with the WP Bakery version of the editor, which is this back end one, you can do some much more interesting things with images. So, oh, there's actually one more thing on the image. If we go to editing that image again, there are some design options. Now, I don't know if you'll ever want to do this. No, it's not. Yeah, so here's something you can do with these pictures. If you click on the image style entry, normally it's just saying default. You can choose something else. So let's go for circle. Let's save the changes and then let's have a quick preview. So this is the one that we've just done in the bakery editor. We've got the alt text and it's displaying it as a circle. When you click on that picture, you get to see the full one. When you click on that picture, which was done in the classic mode, you get to see the full one, but it's not quite as modern way of presenting it. So let's close that and go back to the editor. Now I'm going to add another element and show you another type of thing you can do with images. So we'll click on add element, and the one I want to do now is an image carousel. So this is going to create a slideshow of pictures, and this is probably the nearest equivalent to what you may have used previously, the Royal Sliders. The Royal Slider was an old piece of functionality on the old site which doesn't work on this, but there's lots of other ways of doing it. So I've chosen image carousel. We need to select some images to put into the carousel. So and I'm going to select a collection of images here. So I've got about half a dozen. As I've clicked on each one, it puts a tick, so they're the ones I want. If I decide I don't want that, I can just click it again and it will take the tick out. But I do want it, so I'll have the tick in. I'll say add images. Scroll down the box a little bit. So again, what size do we want it? I don't want thumbnail because that would be a very small. I'm actually going to put large this time. Again, the instructions are there, so I'll just use one of the terms that it gives you. Open Pretty Photo when you click on it. Yep, that's fine. You can choose whether they're going to slide in and out horizontally or vertically. Slider speed, that's in milliseconds, so 5,000 is 5 seconds. I'm just going to reduce that a little bit to 3 seconds, just so that we can see what it's doing without waiting too long. I'd like it to autoplay. Don't want to hide the controls. So, do we want it to keep looping around when it's finished? Yes, I think we will. And that, I think, is it for now. So we'll save changes. Again, other than seeing that there are some images, you're not getting a very good representation of what you do in the WP Bakery page builder, but let's do a preview. So, original picture at the top, classic, the circular one, and here's my carousel. So I set it for 3 seconds. So as you can see, with a large image setting on my laptop screen, you're not actually quite getting the bottom of the picture, but it's almost all there, and it's basically just sliding through them. If you click on it, it will open it in a different application, and you can scroll through them yourself that way. So maybe large is too big, maybe medium would be better for the carousel. Okay. Right, one final thing that I want to show you about using pictures. There are lots and lots of other bits, but let's have one more element. I'm going to use something called a media grid. Now, there are so many different things you can use that I struggle to see media grid, so I'm going to use the search box here. So if we type media grid into the search box, oops, apart from the fact I can't actually spell media, there we go, it suggests 2 things here, so I'm going to go for media grid. So again, you'll start to see the consistency between all these screens. Whenever you want to do anything to do with images of the different layouts, you'll always get a tab up that says click here to add some images. So we can click on add images, and I'm actually going to use the same set of 6 photos as in the carousel just to show you the difference. So select your pictures, click on the add images. So display style show all, yes. You could put, if you had a lot of pictures, more than 6 or 12 or something, you could have it so that it only displays the top few, and there will be a load more button at the bottom. How many would you like on each row? I think 3 is probably a sensible number. You can choose anything 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. Come on, scroll down. Okay, so these pictures will display as it suggests in a grid, and there will be a gap of 5 pixels between each one. So we'll have a look at what it looks like with that gap. And it's going to fade in at the start. So that's about it. So we'll say save changes. So on the page that we've been building up, other than the fact that it says media grid with a different little icon, there's really no difference on this screen between the two different things. But when you preview, single image done with Classic Editor, single image done with Bakery Builder, carousel. Let's just scroll past the carousel. And here's the pictures that are done in an image grid. So there were 6 pictures laid out in 3s with a small gap between them. When you click on one, it opens up a little bigger, and you can, if you wish, scroll through them all. So that's a nice layout if you've got an appropriate even number of pictures. If you want to change the settings at all, just hover over the thing you want to change and then click on the pencil button for that one. So the one change I might want to make is to make them more than 5 pixels apart. So let's make them 15 just to see the difference. Click on Save Changes, click on Preview. Doodly doodly doo, down to the grid. As you can see, now spaced out further apart. So that's another quite neat and professional looking way of presenting a group of pictures, rather than you trying to work out how to get them on the page and exactly where you want them. So that's all these different formats and structures: single image, image carousel, media grid, apply equally well to blogs as well as pages. So it all works in exactly the same way, regardless of whether you start off with a blog or a page. One extra thing you can do in a blog, so I'm just going to click on pages, and it's going to ask me if I really want to leave, and I'm going to say yes I do. I'm not interested really in keeping that page, but I just want to show you that actually, even though I didn't want to keep it, it has kept it as a draft. So if you accidentally wander off the page, you will find that it has kept it as a draft, and you can get rid of those later when you've finished. Let's just do a very quick post so that I can show you the one additional item on a post, which is a featured image. So I'm going to add a new post. So I'll give it a quick title when it wants to catch up with my typing. Come on. Thank you. This is just so that we can actually see something meaningful when we go to preview. So we're in Classic Editor. I know we're in Classic Editor partly because it doesn't say WP Bakery here, and partly because it's showing me the other three editors. If you're in Backend, then it shows you the three that are available for you to choose from Backend. So it doesn't really matter whether we do anything on this page or using Classic or Backend. I'm just going to plonk a quick picture on this page using the Add Media button. Let's have a picture of Pat. And okay, so if we've gone ahead and put lots of text and nice pictures on this page, the one other thing that we would want to do, well, two things, but one of them will come under the heading of blogs, is you would choose what categories to put it under. But for the post, you also want to set featured image. So you click on set featured image and choose a picture. Now I've actually got this one here ready with a 500 by 500 that one file size, and I'm going to show you an example of one that hasn't used 500 by 500, and you'll be able to see why it might be important. I'm just go back into the media library. I want to point out a picture. So there's a picture there which is actually some of the files for Optimus on a tram, I think. When we go to our blogs, that picture is bigger than 500 by 500, so the system tends to crop it in a way that is maybe not as meaningful as it should be. So if you get your picture ready to the right size and shape, when it puts it on this page, you'll have the focus on whatever it is that you want to focus on. So this is the blog summary page. So sometimes our pictures have happened to come out okay on this page, but again, that one's got top and bottom missing. So if I was going to go back and improve this, because obviously these were published a little while ago, I could choose better pictures that would fit the circumstances more appropriately. You really don't want people's heads being chopped off. So that's why I have prepared this particular picture, so that one will display properly because it's 500 by 500. Now the one thing I can't do is, if we preview the blog post, it's only going to show us the blog post. It's not going to show us the featured image. But if I can assure you that by doing it as a proper sized featured image, you will prevent this problem. Okay. Now the last thing I want to show you about how to use your images is the header images. So if you remember, we uploaded some narrow picture, a long and thin one, and that is for this section here. On everybody's home page, you will have inherited the image that has been set at the start. So everybody has started off with that particular picture. You can change that one if you want, or you can leave that and focus on other pages. So within the Northwest region, I've already changed the President's Welcome and who we are, so we've got pictures on all these, but I'd like to carry on and change some more. So we've got what we do. So this is a dark grey background. I want to swap that for a nice picture. So let's go to Pages, and again I'm going to say I'm not interested in saving that blog post. So in Pages, it was the What We Do page that I would like to do something with the header. So I'm going to click on the What We Do page, wait for it to load slowly. I'm sure it'll get there eventually. Thank you. So this one has started up in WP Bakery Build. It doesn't matter, it would be the same in Classic. Scroll down the page until you get to this section that says Page Options, and we want to click on the title wrapper. And again, we need to scroll down a little bit until we get to the background image section. So at the moment it's showing no media selected, so there isn't a picture in the background image on that page. So we're going to click on Upload, and we're going to choose the correct picture for that. So I believe it was that one. If I click on it, it will tell me that that was my region meeting header. So that's the one I want. Let's select that one. It shows you the picture, and then we can go and preview that page. Right. One thing about this one is that it doesn't show you in preview mode. It's got the picture there. The only way to actually see it for real is to update. So I am happy to update this page, so I'm going to click on the Update button. Wait till it says it's done it. Okay, so it says it's done it. If I click on the live site, it should, there we go, show us that particular picture, which I think is quite good. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to show you for the time being on images. Everything I've covered will be featured in the user guide, and you might want to refer to that particularly to look at sizes, etc. If you do have any questions or any concerns, etc., please email Sally hq@sigbi.org, and they will hopefully get answered or addressed in due course. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for listening.